am so excited to be doing this Q&A video with you. I haven't done a Q&A in ages, and this will be the first Q&A on my art YouTube channel. So excited! I've got all the notes written down in my lovely story notebook. The first question was from one of my friends, Celestina, and she says, how do you overcome artist's block? Now that is such a good question, and tell you what, I actually was planning to do a whole video just on that topic. I have made myself a plan for about the next year or so on YouTube videos I want to accomplish, and that was actually one I wanted to do. So it's a really good question. So I won't delve too much into it now, but I do want to give a substantial answer. So personally, I'll just watch a movie. Take a break from the creative space that you're in. Go sit on the couch, put on a comfort movie, especially one from your childhood. I think children's movies, like an animated movie or a movie that really that you really enjoyed growing up, is I think the ticket if you want to just get into that creative space, because when you're a child, creativity is literally everywhere and you're honestly the most creative when you're a child. So definitely put on a children's movie. I know my personal favorite is Mr. Majorum's Wonder Emporium, because it's just full of creativity, full of wonder, full of curiosity, and after that movie I really do feel inspired to paint. But definitely find what works for you. A comfort movie is definitely great and it'll make you feel a whole lot better once you've watched it, just to escape from reality for a little bit, get into that creative flow, because movies generally are art themselves. The director and all the people that put in all that effort to make that movie look the way it does, it's an art form to its own. So getting inspiration and creativity from all those creative people can help you be creative as well. And it can help you put a story across that you want to say. Take yourself on an artist date, do something that you used to do as a child. I know I'm starting to do the artist's way. I actually got this book over here. So I'm doing this book at the moment. It's a 12-week course. And I'm currently in week 2. And I can honestly say in week 2 already, I really feel like it's really helping me work through certain things. And part of the book recommends artist dates once a week. So when I went to a James Blunt concert last week, which was very fun, when we were catching the train back, there was this easels that is available in the train station, and I saw top model books. So as a child, we're trying to get into that artist date, like kind of child mentality. I bought myself a top model book and some twistable crayons, and I actually did this on the train, and I remember doing them as a child. So I've like designed a couple, like 2 outfits. I mean, I try to use nature as an inspiration. So I used fire, and then I used like kind of the ocean as one, and it gave me a nice mermaid dress. So all of this to say is try and do something that you would probably do as a child, and get into that creative flow again. And because when you do something like a child, it can really make life more exciting. The next question is from Rebecca, and she asked, what's your favorite painting that you've painted? Now, I've painted so many paintings, and doing the Milan Art Institute Mastery Program course, I've really surprised myself, honestly, doing like 2 paintings a week. I've just seen my creativity like soar. So I actually have so many paintings in my art studio at the moment, and I love them all very, very dearly. But there is just one particular one that holds a special place in my heart, and I actually decided to put it at the back there. Okay, so this is, I think, personally my favorite painting. It's the first painting that I did in the portfolio section of the Milan Art Institute Mastery Program. It's called Reminisce, and as I was painting it, it really did feel personally like me, because I oftentimes reminisce about the past, and I'm filled with nostalgia, and I felt this was a beautiful representation of nostalgia. And it's got lovely biblical modesty elements in it too. It almost feels like one of those paintings you would see in medieval times in like a stained glass window, and just the birds flying with the swallows and the mountains in the back, and just the contrast between the warm and the cools, and just it's such a beautiful state of mind that I honestly fell in love with this painting. But I've done so many other pretty paintings, and I've got them all stacked up here in my art studio, and they're all very, very special to me, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick this one. Okay, so then Alcia asked me a question on my art page, and she says, what is your favorite medium to paint with and why? I personally prefer to use traditional oils. I think there is a certain level of class around using oil paints. I feel like they have been used throughout history, throughout art history, and they're quite trusted. And when people hear that it's been painted with oils, they immediately think it's got good quality around it. But even though I do use traditional oils, I do kind of change it up a little bit too. I do use gold leaf, as you might have noticed when I hold my painting up, and that painting that I'm working on over here, that I'll actually give you a sneak peek preview into. This painting is what I'm working on at the moment, and you can see it shines in the sunlight. So that is silver leaf now that I've put on, but I use rose gold, silver leaf and gold leaf, and I just incorporate that, and then I put the oils on top of it so that it's like a oil painting that shimmers. So that is my personal style, and it's different to just traditional oils, so I've added a little bit of mixed media element in it too. But oil paintings, I find a lot more freedom, and they don't dry instantly like acrylics. Even though I use acrylics sometimes, I find acrylics a little bit hard to use because as you put the paint down and you try to move on to the next thing, it's dry. There is one tip about oil paints that acrylic paints does not have, is that oils can be both warm and cool, and that helps create depth in your paintings. So you might have noticed that this is quite warm and the background is quite cool, so it looks three-dimensional. So that is done with special color theory and oil paints. Okay, and then my mom, love her, she says, what is your favorite thing to paint? So I have experimented with all different things to paint. I've done animals, I've done people, I've done flowers, done landscapes, and out of all of those things, I personally prefer to paint animals. Especially birds. I love painting realistic birds, realistic animals, especially African animals too, because I'm from South Africa. Even though I live in Ireland, I still love painting African animals, and it's what I'm drawn to paint mostly. But I do like to experiment with other things as well, particularly nature things, because that is the kind of message I want to get across. I want to show people the beauty of life, life around me. So that includes people, animals, nature, scenes like flowers and landscapes. So this is from my good friend Tim. How do you find inspirations for your art? I find inspiration in all sorts of things. I specifically like to go through Pinterest, seeing what catches my eye. I personally like to see pictures of animals and people, and maybe even animals and people together, but any image that creates a story that causes me to pause and gives me like a 5-second, even 10-second engagement, then I save that picture to my secret board, my paintings references board, and I'll look at it. Now, the one thing is, you can't take the storyline that the photographer is trying to portray, because that's stealing, and we don't want to steal that. We steal like an artist, so we must take ideas from it but make it our own. We mustn't plagiarize, and because that's unethical and we don't want to do that. I personally just keep the picture just to get an idea, and I'll either change what the person looked like, I'll do some additions in Procreate or Pixlr on my phone to try to look a little bit different, to try and create my own story from it. Sometimes I'll create something that's just a little bit of things put together to create my own storyline. So it doesn't particularly have to be a picture that is trying to tell a story. It could just be just some random picture of some animal, but I can make it a storyline through Procreate, through an app, and I can make something from it. Now, another YouTube video I've planned for the future is creating Procreate sources with me. Now, you don't know what Procreate is. It's an app on my iPad. It's an app generally on iPads that you can draw, and it's a lovely, lovely tool for artists, especially for making painting sources to paint from. So I will do a YouTube video about that, and you'll be able to see how I create my sources and how I use trial and error to create the paintings that I'll paint. But I also find inspiration in a lot of the movies I watch, a lot of the books, even a walk out in nature, just looking up once in a while, just observing what's around me. It helps me find that inspiration too. Another thing that also inspires me while I paint is, of course, the light element. That's why I've added gold leaf and silver leaf and rose gold leaf in my paintings, because I am fascinated with how the light hits the artwork and creates a bit of a story as well, so that it shines. So my tagline for my art business or my art brand is freedom to shine. So I create artwork that I can feel personally shines, personally tries to get a message across to. Because I want to create a positive message or a storytelling message across to my viewers. So hopefully that comes across. So the next one is from Jess, and she's our final question for the day. My good friend, one of my best friends, Jess, she asked me the question, what started your passion for art? Now, I can personally say that I have been a creative person my entire life. I was always drawing on pieces of paper growing up with crayons and those kind of twistable crayons that you used to get, ink, and this, I'm going to say a real South African word here. I'm going to say I used a lot of kokies, which is felt tip crayons or felt tip pens, whatever you call them in this part of the world. But I used lots of kokies and I used to create lots of artwork. I really felt that throughout school I used to enjoy the art classes, was a part of art club, definitely my strongest subject in school. It was that point that I decided I was going to be an artist when I grew up. Anyways, have a lovely day further, and I'll see you in the next video. So TTFN, ta-ta for now.